Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all you need. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be seen on the TLB TV network. That's the Liberty Beacon TV network, or TLBTV.com. You can catch the Mike Wagner Show every Monday at noon Central Time. You can also follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. You can also download and listen on SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. And once again, you can watch the Mike Wagner Show on TLBTV.com. That's the Liberty Beacon TV network, every Monday at noon on the Mike Wagner Show, and take the Mike Wagner Show wherever you go on any streaming mobile device. We're here with a wonderful gentleman from the Detroit, Michigan area. He's been in Southeast for quite some time, just about born, grew up there, and has a lot of great history. He's been on Channel 4 WDIV, the Mitch Albom Show. He's been on quite a few radio TV stations, and has a really interesting story how it got on Brownsville Station. And he's also put out some solo albums and working on a brand new one, which is completely different from what he does, and it's going to blow you away when it gets released. So I've had him on before, just a fantastic guitarist and a great musician. That's just some great stories with the people he's toured and been with Brownsville Station. So ladies and gentlemen, back once again, this time on TV, not the radio version, right here on TV. And it's going to play for us as well, too. Ladies and gentlemen, the pride of Detroit, Michigan, Billy Craig. Billy, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us again.
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great here. So glad to have you back on again. Of course, you've been in the Detroit area for quite some time. You play with Brownsville Station, and you also play with Boston, and you also had played with Ted Nugent and quite a few others, some of the opening acts. You've also got you had your own group for a while. You also got to release 4 albums. You're working on a 5th. And before we get to your latest projects, since we left off, tell us once again how you got started.
You know what? It was your typical, I don't know what, I was 7 years old, and guitars were like a magnet to me, and music was just kind of something that it was just a part of me, kind of just I migrated in that direction from a very young age. And of course it helped to have my mom. She bought me a couple of guitars and signed me up for some lessons. And I was just a big fan of music. I was the kid watching Hee Haw, so I could watch Roy Clark play guitar, and I was just all in for rock and roll. And I used to go to my older sister. She had a really great stereo, and going to college, which I'm from a college town, and she had a really great collection, her and her roommate, of albums. So I would go over there and listen to Chicago and Carole King and James Taylor and Cat Stevens, all the stuff in those late 70s when I was just a really little kid. And I'm second youngest of 9.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. So my older brothers and sisters, I remember listening to Beatles all the way to Grand Funk Railroad, so it's a pretty wide variation, and it's kind of neat because when I think about it, that was my rock and roll education,
Oh, my goodness. And did you guys have to fight for the record player all the time, or fight over records or something?
No, because it was 3, 3, and 3. And by the time I was old enough, my oldest brother was already out of the house, moved out, and it was never a problem,
Mm-hmm. That is amazing too. And of course, I grew up with three sisters in the household, and they fight over their stuff. I just sit back and watch. When it came to the record players, like they had their own, they had their music, I had mine, so we didn't fight over that stuff, except turn it down, turn it up. That's the only arguments we have. So I know how it is when it came to the music as well too. So
we did have a stereo. The only thing that the problem I ever had was, I think I had one sister that thought I was too young to be listening to like Deep Purple,
Really?
But I remember I got my hands on, I don't know if you ever listened to Deep Purple. It's an album called Burn.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good, I remember my older sister bringing home Humble Pie live at the Fillmore,
Mm-hmm. That's a classic.
It is a classic, and we were just blown away. It was like, whoa,
Mm-hmm.
And that's before I ever picked up a guitar. There was just a vibe to music and to rock and roll. And, my two oldest sisters, every Saturday were watching American Bandstand,
Oh my goodness.
So there was a lot of I think, how would you say, stuff that just kind of soaked in just from being around it, and
Mm-hmm.
and my musical background, my mom was always she was the lady with the loudest voice at church. Her dad, my grandpa, played trombone and violin, and I think I got a great grandma that played piano for silent movies. It goes back a long ways, the music in my family.
Oh my goodness. I mean, you just have a heck of a heritage, I'll tell you that. And I remember back in the day too, like with the music as well. I remember getting home from a Cubs baseball game and going to a record store that's maybe about maybe a dozen blocks away from Wrigley Field, going to a record store, and I buy myself 10 albums. Okay, this is great stuff. Def Leppard, Genesis, Van Halen, Rush. And then here's my sister. How about 100 albums from like, classic rock to punk and everything. And I'm just like, but I still love her too. And it was just one of those competitive things. And, just being with, music as well too. So, and of course, we're here to talk about, some of your work as well too. And of course, one of the groups I grew up listening to was Brownsville Station, which is the one that you're associated with. I listened when I was 9 years old, smoking in the boys' room and just jamming with one of those boom boxes as well too. 9 years old, just those donut boxes or whatever it is. So it's like, I mean, what, how could you imagine yourself playing? Oh yeah, go ahead and play it. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't played that one in a while. I tell you what, it's really, I know what the feeling, like Leonard Skinner, when they break into Sweet Home Alabama, crowd goes nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same feeling when we start smoking in the boys' room. It's just that huge roar. It's a pretty cool feeling when that happens. And I remember the first time, and it was like, holy crap, these people love this song.
And who knew you end up on Brownsville Station? We'll get into how you got involved with them. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable, custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can now be seen on the Mike Wagner Show at TLBTV.com. That's the Liberty Beacon TV network every Monday noon Central Time. So check in for a brand new episode every Monday at noon. You can also check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com. Also on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also watch the interview on YouTube as well. And the Mike Wagner Show, take it with you wherever you go on any streaming mobile device. We're here with Detroit native Billy Craig, coming out of the Michigan area. Very popular. Appeared on a number of Detroit radio and TV stations. We're just talking about Brownsville Station and, just listening to it. And you thought, how could you get into it? So anyway, we're here to talk about how you end up getting involved.
What was the question, Mike? I'm sorry.
No, I said we were talking about Brownsville Station and, having that song come out in 73 and you playing it when you're young as well, too. And then you suddenly got involved as well, too. So tell us how you got involved with Brownsville Station.
The funny thing about that song is I remember the older kids. I was just a very young kid when that song was a hit. So I was the kid running around the yard, But I remember the song. I remember the back then there was a rough crowd that were smoking in the boys' room, the rebels, Well, the story for Brownsville, it really starts with, I ended up here in the Detroit area via San Diego, of all things. I went out to LA to go to Guitar Institute of Technology, which I did. And after that, I ended up in San Diego and recorded a project with a group of real popular musicians out of the Detroit area. That was the stipulation. I wrote all the material, and they wanted to use as a rhythm section these guys from Detroit from this really pretty big band called Salem Witchcraft. And I was excited about that because as a kid, I saw them open up for Black Oak, Arkansas, a few big bands that were huge during the day. And so after that, we had such a great time in the studio, they asked me to come back to Detroit and start a new band. And that's when, that's how I came back here. We started the new band. That was more of a club band that we made real good money. And after a couple of years, that morphed into another project that was more of an original band. We wrote a lot of music and we did really, really well. We had multiple songs on radio, one of them on Wheels and Riff, the two biggest rock stations here in the Detroit area. But from what I understand, it was also played all the way out to Sacramento, California.
Wow.
Yeah, we were one of the few bands that had that kind of radio play, but we didn't have a record deal. And they said that the only other band that did that was Bon Jovi, And,
oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so we thought we were going to be huge stars, But I was going, I'd be driving to the club, nightclub to play the night, and I'd have WRAF on the radio, and the song was called Streets of Fire. Would come on and I'd listen to the song and grab my guitar and walk into the club to play to 400 or 500 people. It was a really good time, but that was really the start of the whole rock and roll thing here in the Detroit area. And I got involved with, after that, a lot of different projects, but I was really known more for it, not just as a guitar player, but a writer. And a friend of mine invited me or asked if I would be interested to do a pilgrimage down to Sun Studio. I think I had told you that before.
And I'd love to hear the story again too. And for those who missed it, tell us about the pilgrimage to Sun Studios. And since you thought of it, I'd love to go down there myself just to give a tour and see what it's like.
Oh, you know what? I should highly suggest it. They have a great museum. It's a whole walk around. You end up into like a cafe, gift shop kind of thing. But you go through by the time you get to the studio, you can feel the spirits of Johnny Cash and Elvis right in there.
Oh, my goodness.
Huge picture of the $1 Million singers. I can't remember what they called them. The $1 Million
all I can think is $1 Million Babies, but we'll say that's close enough.
it's the Johnny Cash, Elvis, Carl Perkins, and there's one more. The $1 Million Quartet. That's what they call it. $1 Million Quartet.
That's it.
Yeah, they just happened to be in Sun Studio at that not the day I was there. I wish.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, so we had rented the studio for a few days. So before we went in, we went and did the whole tour. Of course, got us all psyched up, but to make it even more interesting, all the way, it was 4 guys. We drove in a minivan down to Memphis. And the great story was I was lucky enough to sit next to a gentleman. His name's Charlie Martin, Charlie Allen Martin. And he was the drummer for Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band back in the heyday. He's the guy. Yeah. If you listen to Bob Seger Live Bullet, Charlie Martin is the drummer all the way through. And he's the guy, I can't remember what the song is, but Bob Seger says, Charlie knows. That's Charlie.
I think I've heard that, and
yeah,
I had that album at one point. It was either that or cassette, CD. It's like I've had all kinds. I can't remember what, but I did remember him saying like that. And now that you brought it up, I was like, I'm about to pull it out of the archives or just order a CD from Amazon just to listen again or download.
Oh, that's one.
Listen, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's one of the best live albums ever, and comes from there's a string of live albums, like the Frampton Comes Alive, I think Blue Oyster Cult had a live album that was pretty cool, and they all had one, and I'd love to do one actually. That would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so as the story goes, so we got to the studio, we're recording. Before we got there, my buddy, the drummer, he goes, hey, by the way, a guy named Henry Weck is going to show up. And I go, who's Henry Weck? Well, that's Henry H. Bomb Weck, the drummer from Brownsville Station.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I go, wow, that's great. Henry's a real studio gear sonic audio expert. He's a producer. He's got gold albums. He produced Blackfoot Strikes. Have you ever?
Yes, very familiar with it. Love Blackfoot.
Highway Song, Train. I think. Something like that. Anyway,
that's good for me.
It was just one of those situations where we had a lot in common, and by the end of the recording session, we exchanged emails and phone numbers, and we kept in touch, and we just kind of became fast friends. And it was interesting because we talked for actually a few years before we really talked. I mean, we talked about Brownsville Station, but, I had the feeling that with him anyway, that, Brownsville Station, that, it kind of not going to be doing anything, at least in the near future. And so we kind of stayed in touch for a few years, 2 or 3 years, or maybe even more than that. I can't remember how long it was. And he calls me out of the blue and he goes, hey, Billy, I'm going to send you Michael, the other original member of Brownsville Station, actually the guy that co-wrote Smokin' in the Boys' Room. He goes, we've been getting together and writing material, and it just kind of happened. We have a whole album of material that we're working on. I want to send you a CD and see what you think. And I'm going, okay, that sounds great. I felt, honored that he would think of me to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I get this CD in the mail and I listen to it, and it's just great rock and roll music. And as a matter of fact, one of the songs is rock and roll's better than music.
Nice. so it's two of the remaining. So it's two of the remaining Brownsville Station members that are involved with this, or is there more to it?
No, it's Henry Weck and Michael Lutz are the two main guys. They were really the classic. I mean, Brownsville Station has had a few configurations, but the classic Brownsville Station to me is is Michael Lutz, Henry Weck, and Cub Coda. They were a three-piece. And they were the guys that when Smokin' in the Boys Room went huge, they were the guys that were in the band, and they were doing all the big stuff. And Cub Coda, he was the lead guitar player. He was that, that he sang. Well, they shared the singing, but he was that consummate great guitar player and showman, And but unfortunately, he passed away, I think in 2001. He had diabetes and some issues with that. And unfortunately, he had some kidney problems in it, and he sadly passed away. It was a huge loss for Detroit and for rock and roll. For me, I was the guy that basically had to step in, learn all of Cub Coda's leads, note for note, and all this, all the stuff that he did. And then we grabbed another really good guitar player. So we do share a lot of lead stuff now. It's a 2-guitar bass, and then Michael's the lead singer. Michael was the bass player, and he decided he just wanted to sing and hang a guitar around his neck. And then, of course, Henry. So, and what we're doing now is it's kind of been on mothballs for a couple of years. But from what I hear, we got some rumblings of working on some projects, and it looks like we're going to do a string of shows toward the end of this year.
Nice.
I understand. So we'll see how that goes, and hopefully that'll work its way back into next summer.
And you said the string of shows, where you guys will be playing?
The only thing that I know, they were talking like down in North Carolina, and so you just never know with that. Okay. I'd love to get out to where you guys are. We don't do, at least we haven't done a major tour where we're going all over. Usually it's a string of dates where we'll go, like when we first got together, it was Memphis to West Virginia, Charleston, West Virginia. So it's usually, just a run of shows.
Okay. So it's basically just in the area where you have a lot of Brownsville Station fans.
You never know. Bottom line is, whoever's paying the money, it's a big ticket for Brownsville Station. It's a legendary rock and roll band. I mean, when you Google Brownsville Station, you see a lot of information on YouTube, and they've done shows with every major rock act that you name it. They've done a show, either opening or, Henry told me a great story, actually a couple great stories, but many great stories, I should say. But he told me that he remembers when Bruce Springsteen opened for them.
Oh my goodness.
And you look at history, and where Bruce Springsteen went from there is huge. And by the way, the drive, I forgot to tell you, the drive down to Memphis when I first met Henry, I sat in the back with Charlie Martin, and he told me old Bob Seger Silver Bullet stories all the way down.
My goodness.
14 hours of stories, But he had this thick book, scrapbook, full of old pictures that I wish I had a couple of them. This is stuff. It was a real inside look of them backstage and everything that they did from when Bob Seger first, he had a few bands, but when he first put together the Silver Bullet Band.
Yeah. That is something. Oh my goodness. So makes you want to play with them or something. But We'll get to some of your projects in just a minute. Obviously, you can listen to Brownsville Station anywhere online. We'll get to more on that. Listen to the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be seen on the Liberty Beacon TV network. That's tlbtv.com. You can also catch the Mike Wagner Show every Monday at noon, along with the many fine programs on the Liberty Beacon. You can also catch the Mike Wagner Show on Facebook, Spreaker, SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio as well. And also check out the Mike Wagner Show page at themikewagnershow.com, and also watch on YouTube as well. We're here with Billy Craig, the famous Detroit, Michigan native, talking about Brownsville Station, some of his career. And I also like that background music you played, too, during my ad, too, which is great. So,
is that all right? I didn't know if it was going to be okay, so I thought I'd put a little something in there.
Oh, that's great. You know what? It's like I love having music like that. And I mean, I wish I could put music on mine, but I have to talk to my board directors up there. So,
right.
So anyway, we'll get to some of your projects as well too. The latest is Sonic Tunesmith, but you also had Next Exit Paradise, Psychedelic Rodeo, This Side of Somewhere, and Sonic Tunesmith. And maybe you can just tell us about some of the albums as well.
Well, I have 4 solo albums, really more Americana. I've gotten more support toward country radio than anything else. I had actually it didn't chart, but I had a big song called Flip Flops that played around the country and was played overseas. It's a song that I luckily enough I was getting royalties from, so that made me happy.
Nice.
And so I've gotten a lot of play with that song, and I'm still just kind of in the trenches, still fighting. But I have 4 albums out. The brand new album is called Sonic Tunesmith, but I'm already in the studio working on some other stuff. If you want to hear about that too.
Absolutely. Let's hear more about that. Maybe you can play a few songs from Sonic Tunesmith, and maybe 1 or 2 from your past albums as well. So I'd love to hear about your latest work.
Well, there's something that I really wanted to do. Actually, I have. If you Google Billy Craig An Epic Tale, it's a project that I put together. It's all instrumental. I did all the instruments on there, and it's really just a lengthy single. It's like 24 minutes or something silly like that.
An Epic Tale. Oh my gosh, makes me think of the days of what was it? Gates of Delirium by Yes, or Supper's Ready Genesis, or Inagata Via Iron Butterfly. It's like the 20-minute tunes that made it big on FM radio. Oh my gosh, come to think of it, I'm going to have to put on a 20-minute tune after this. I thought about it.
It's called An Epic Tale.
Uh-huh.
Billy Craig An Epic Tale. And what happened is I started doing a bunch of music. Actually, I found an old dusty box of tapes that I had from like early 90s. And it was stuff that I never finished off. And what I did is I took the best, I'm just going to guess, 8 songs, and it was all instrumental. So I took those out. I digitized everything. It was all tape.
Mm-hmm.
And it was something that I never added guitar. So it was all keyboards and different sounds. Great drum sounds, yet a little dated because it was early 90s when I did that project.
Uh-huh.
And so I took it, I digitized it, put it in the studio, and started recording all these parts. And when I was done, I decided to test the system, so to speak. I instead of doing it 8 separate songs, I grafted them together into one cohesive piece.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that I thought made sense. And I sold it because I wanted to pass it on to people and so they could buy the song for 99 cents. So they're buying 24 minutes of music for just 99 cents.
Do the math, folks. Do the math. It's a bargain.
That's a bargain, you know. And it's a nice little musical ride, but I always wanted to follow that up with something just totally guitar based. And I was thinking about it actually today. It's not it's really it's an interesting project. I didn't want to overplay, I didn't want to underplay, and I wanted to be really melodic and catchy, but at the same time I kind of wanted to challenge the listener and myself, and it's a real push. And it's 14 tracks that I've been working on for probably almost 2 months now, and I'm mixing it all down. I'm thinking hopefully I'll be done with it in about 3-4 weeks is what I'm hoping. And so probably when I finish that, it'll release a couple of weeks after that, kind of thing. But it's cool. It's total rocked out to cool jazz songs, like a Girl from Ipanema kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. One of my faves.
Yeah, I got a song called Intrigue, I call it. And it's just got this cool little groove and this cool little swingy melody. And it's all guitars. I'm putting the guitar in the middle of the stage, meaning the guitar's the lead singer, kind of like Joe Satriani, but not that crazy. Joe's in a league of himself. So, and again, it's really, for me, I grew up listening to 70s and 80s music. So my heroes is Ronnie Montrose, Peter Frampton, the Doobie Brothers, all the way to Eddie Van Halen, and you know, those kind of players. Those are my heroes, and that's kind of what I put together. And I think that people are going to go. At least I hope that people listen to the songs, listen through. You know, most people. I don't know if you see this, but it just seems that people are very impatient. You know, they'll put on a song, and if it doesn't bite them by the nose in the first and latch on in 5 seconds, they turn the channel. And each one of the songs that I put together, the tunes that I put together, it's a composition. You know, so they were designed to take you for a ride, to tell you a story musically. Mm-hmm. And I'm happy to say I think I hit it on the mark. I think I hit the target, and I'm real excited to mix it down and finish. But there's, like I was telling you earlier when we were talking, there's a couple of things I need to do. I need to do a couple of do-overs. Mm-hmm. And, you know, that happens. You know, you could get a whole project done and you go, you know what, there's one guitar part or one bass part that it just, every time it comes up, it bugs the crap out of me. And one of the things that artists don't want to do is let something go out and let it turn into a regret where, you know, you go, gosh darn, I wish I could have done that better. I wish we would have mixed it this way, or, you know what I'm saying? You know, but at the same time, I'm happy to be creating music. I love the creative process. I do it every day if I could, you know, although I had a nice break down in Florida for a week. So
nice. Yes. I think we ought to use a break in Florida too. And of course, you know, getting back to the part about where with today's people, where it's like, if it doesn't hook in like 5 seconds or less, they just throw it out. It's also where it's like the attention spans seem to get shorter and shorter and shorter as time goes on. And I mean, I have to admit, I have some problems with people and trying to keep their attention span. It's like it used to be a long time ago. You would have about, you know, a minute Then it got down to 30 seconds, 15 seconds. Now it's like, if you don't summon like in like 3 to 5 seconds or even once, like it's like a whole bye-bye thing. You know, it's just the way society is. But
right.
But something is where you can just teach people. It's like you could, it's something where you can just say that this is what we've done today. This is just something new, and hopefully this can be reversed as well. You know, it's like, you know, I'm looking forward to hearing it. And, you know, after you give your answer and just tell people where can we buy an Epic Tale, you said it's like, you know, 24 minutes, 99 cents. And where can we find it?
It's on all the digital sites. If you Google Billy Craig and Epic Tale, you'll find it. And you'll also see, you know, This Side of Somewhere, Next Exit Paradise, Psychedelic Rodeo, and of course Sonic Tunesmith. And my stuff, it's interesting because This Side of Somewhere is kind of rough hewn. You know, it's when I really, to be honest with you, because I write and produce everything myself, and that was when I first decided to do that. So I was learning a lot in the studio. My second album, Next Exit Paradise, I felt that I really upped the game. I felt that I had a big pool of songs to pull from, and I've worked really hard on that album. There's a lot of playability and a lot of radio quality songs on that particular album. Psychedelic Rodeo, I think at that point, because the first two albums were real beachy, you know, something you play when you're in your boat out on the lake, you know.
Like Jimmy Buffett, yes.
Yeah. And the second album I got a little bit more rocky, but to me, Psychedelic Rodeo, I just decided to do whatever comes out. And I think probably from being in Brownsville Station, I think it got, you know, it got a little bit more rock music feel, but still with a country Americana feel. Sonic Tunesmith, same thing. I just decided to you know, actually that album I played more guitar than I did on the other ones. I kind of opened up quite a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But this new album, I haven't even titled it yet. As a matter of fact, there's half of the songs don't even have a title. It's if you look at my studio and the sessions, it says song 1, song 2, song 3. You know, and some of them have a title, and there's some surprises in there. And, you know, I got to sit down and go, okay, what's this about? What's it make me feel like? And that kind of thing. And then I'll name all the songs, and I'll put it together and make it more of a package, so to speak. But I'm really excited about it. It's, I just kind of decided just to put the pedal to the metal. Not that it's metal, but
right, yeah.
Just you know, it's like I said, you'll hear a little West Montgomery, Girl from Ipanema kind of thing, all the way to Ronnie Montrose, Sammy Hagar, rock and roll. You know,
mm-hmm.
And so it's going to be an interesting ride, I believe, mm-hmm. for people to listen to.
It sounds like it. We're looking forward to as well, too. And of course, you know, we got some time and everything else, and maybe you can just play a few tunes from each one of your albums. So just pick one and maybe do a few for us.
Well, I wish you would have told me that before, so I could be ready for this. Well, I like flip-flops. I like them all a lot. I like flip-flops when I get hot. Come on, baby. Can't you see it's a flip-flop life for me?
Oh, man.
That's from the first album. Let me see. Right. It's a party down Spain. There's a song called Party on the Equator. You got it. It's kind of, it's Jimmy Buffett, but it's got a real, the recorded version's real rocked out. So, shoot, I don't even know. Psychedelic Rodeo, and the other one I got, I haven't had my band out for a couple of years, really. We're thinking about doing some stuff this summer. So I've been more in the studio, just creating new music and marketing and doing all the radio stuff. So I apologize. But there you go.
That was amazing too. And let's hear one of the songs from Sonic Tunesmith. And I think your big one was Nowhere to Go, if I'm right. So unless there's another one you want to put out there, it's like, give everybody an idea of one of the songs from Sonic Tunesmith.
Okay.
Very impressive. I love it. I love it. I am definitely looking forward to your next album for sure.
Yeah, tonight I'm not doing a lot on the singing side. My voice is kind of rough right now.
It's okay. As long as you get to hear something, that's the main thing. And of course, just a few minutes right here. We'd like to have you on next time as well when the new album comes out and everything. What's the best advice you can give to anybody right now at this point?
For someone pursuing music?
That or just anything else?
Go to school.
and don't smoke in the boys' room.
Yeah, don't smoke in the boys' room. You'll get thrown in jail for that now.
Nowadays. All right. Well, it's been great. I know you've had a long day, but it's great talking to you. And, just keep in touch on Facebook. I know you have to post some of my stuff in my timeline and just keep doing that. And I have to find a way to get on your regular feed from time to time. You know how Facebook is with all these algorithms and everything, but that's for another time. So once again, tell everybody, about your upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact you? And where can they get your music?
Well, if you Google Billy Craig, you'll see all the digital sites, iTunes, Amazon. But if you just Google Billy Craig, you'll see everywhere you can go. It shows you the Twitter, it shows you my Facebook page, and everything's available. Actually, you know what? To be honest, I forgot. I have a website.
Oh, yes, that's the most important. Otherwise, they'll be like, what?
Yeah. How did I forget that one? It's easy. BillyCraigMusic.us.
BillyCraigMusic.us.
Yep. Brand new. I just got that about 6 months ago. It replaced it. I had a great one before, but we needed to update, and we got it. And actually, if you go to that site, BillyCraigMusic.us, it has the single that it called "With You," and that single's actually being pushed all around the country to country radio. And actually, we're right in the middle of we're kind of switching to a new song that's off of Sonic Tunesmith. It's called "Summertime."
Mm-hmm.
And if you Google Billy Craig "Summertime," you should be able to find that too. But if you go to the website, all the social media is on there. You can hear music. Everything's there. You can even contact me. Just hit contact, and if you want to send a note, you can.
That's the best thing about it. And Billy, just want to say it's great talking to you again, and thank you very much for your time. And do us a favor, keep this up to date, and look forward to having you on again soon. And I'd love to hear what you got coming up next.
Will do. Mike Wagner, thank you so much. You do excellent job. I like that microphone.
It's a Blue Yeti, and the whole family hitched in their hard-earned money and got for me this past Christmas. And I think I've got another mug somewhere I have to show you later. My daughter Sarah just had one of those blank coffee mugs, had a microphone, had a lever on the handle on it, and says thank you everything. So I'll have that on next time for you and show you, and all kinds of trinkets. It's like, my family, it's just like, I just love my family, my friends, and you. Thank you very much for making everything happen. It's like, 35 years in the business. It's like, if I ain't like radio, I'd be doing something else. It's like, you got to do what you love, according to the guy called Lizard.
Hey, well, actually, that's according to a lot of people. I think there's a lot of truth to that.
Yes, there is. That's right. We'll get into more intent next time we'll talk. This is Mike Wagner from the Mike Wagner Show. Thanks for watching. You've been a great audience. We'll see you next time, Monday at noon, here on TLB TV, Liberty Beacon TV Network. You guys have a great day.